Hello and welcome to EDFL Web TV this week. We're here at the Keilor Park Football Club where it is finals fever because the under-10s and under-14s will be playing off in grand finals this Sunday, so make sure you get down to that. From a senior perspective, I had a chat to the first-year coach, Louis Opedisano, over in the home rooms earlier today. Let's find out what Louis had to say. We're here inside the Keilor Park change rooms and I'm with the playing coach, first year in charge as well. Louis Opedisano joins us on EDFL Web TV this week. Louis, first year as a coach, how have you found it?
Yeah, it's been very, very tough. Obviously, not the year hasn't gone to plan. Obviously coming from Tullamarine last year and sort of winning, it just sort of come just second nature. And coming to Keilor Park, obviously this year's been a tough year. We had a big walkout, unfortunately at the end of the year, but we've sort of found out now that the list isn't probably where it has to be, and so things have sort of put in place for next year, and starting to talk to players, and
Coming off a pretty tough loss against Hadfield, but let's face it, everyone that plays Hadfield probably is going to have a pretty tough loss. And you've got Coburg Districts coming up this week. So we're here at training for the Tuesday night. So what's the preparation like ahead of the Districts game?
Well, the loss to Hadfield was pretty. It wasn't good. We've played Hadfield 3 times this year, and before the last time we played them, we had a decent record. We lost by 40 points against them the previous 2 times. So where they've certainly smacked a few sides this year, and on the weekend we took a few steps back with the way we played. But they're a class act and they're too good to be in this division. So I reckon they're the team to sort of beat. Yep.
Just finally, let's take a bit of an upbeat note here. Some of the guys we don't know too much about that you've really liked this year, if there's any young kids that are coming through that are going to play some more regular senior footy in the future for Keilor Park.
Yeah, well, little young Mitchie, he played reserves last year due to not having an under-18s team. He's played, I think he's played about 8 senior games this year, so he's really come along nicely. My brother Pat, this is his first year of seniors, and he's certainly been a very, very consistent player. So they're the 2 that really stand out. But even people like players like Jesse Ravanello and Tommy Stoneham, they've really taken this year, by the scruff of the neck, and they're really playing a lot of consistent football. They're the sort of names that really stand out. Richie Pasali come across, he's played a really consistent year. So no, there's definitely been a lot of upsides. We've found a lot of players this year. It's all about next year now and really building and talking to players for next year. And hopefully we've got some good things coming up. With new players signing on so it's all about next year now.
Louis, thanks for joining us on EDFL Web TV this week. Good luck against Coburg Districts as well on the weekend. Up next, Claire Varley and Adam Russell will join myself and we'll discuss all the issues in EDFL football.
Adam and Adam, we're here today at Keilor Park, but there is a lot more happening in the EDFL at the moment. So let's jump straight into some discussion, starting with arguably the best division in local footy, Essendon 4 Division 1. First of all, what did you make of that game between East Keilor and Taylors Lakes?
Well, we were there for EDFL Match of the Day radio, and you've picked a cracker, Chief. It was a really good contest in Mark DeSousa's last game for Taylors Lakes, and they got the chocolates in the end. Over a relatively competitive East Keilor, they started really strongly and they came out of the blocks, but Taylors Lakes in their third quarter kicked 7 goals, and by the end of it, they just got over the line in the end, winning by 3 points.
Yeah, Adam, Taylors Lakes, they had a pretty poor start to the game, let's admit it, first 40 minutes or so, and then after time on in the second term, they really turned it on and increased their pressure around the ball, and they got their ball movement right, which was the major issue at the start of the day. But look, they played some inspired footy after that, and it was a magnificent comeback and a great way to honour a magnificent career for Mark DeSousa.
How about Tulla and Oak Park?
Claire, this is our EDFL match of the day on 98.9 Northwest FM and Team App as well. We're back in Essendon 4 Division 1, best division in local footy, Claire, as you said, off the top. And look, Oak Park can pretty much wrap up a top 4 spot. They can absolutely for sure secure a finals berth with a win. Tulla trying to keep its season alive. This is our EDFL match of the day. Only 7 points separated the 2 last time out as well, so hopefully we get a good one up at Leo Deneen Reserve this weekend.
Yeah, this was actually the one that I found the hardest to tip this week because I really thought it could go either way, but I've tipped Oak Park personally. How about you?
Yeah, I've also gone with Oak Park, a chance to secure a finals berth. I think there's too much on the line for them to give that up, and I think they'll get the 4 points on the weekend.
And now let's jump into Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division. What did you make of Pascoe's loss to Greenvale this last weekend?
Yeah, I think they're on the slide a little bit at the moment, Pascoe Vale. We're hearing some injuries might have come out of that game, and right now I know they don't have Randello and I think Vez Premier as well that aren't in the side as we speak. But yeah, for my Greenvale are still the second best team in the competition as we speak. Pascoe Vale are just dropping off a little bit. We'll see how they go come finals time. But for now, I'm a bit worried about Pascoe Vale's premiership chances. Yeah,
it was an interesting weekend, Adam. It was, Ben Warren, he only kicked the one goal. Another good job by fullback Dan Camposano down at Greenvale. And I think by the time finals roll around, Pascoe Vale, they might even find themselves being the fourth best team in that top four with Keilor and some pretty ripper form at the moment.
And now we have the top four locked in with, of course, Aberfeldy, Greenvale, Pascoe Vale and Keilor. Who do you think is the main threat to the still undefeated Abbas?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, Greenvale is probably my number one at the moment. We'll see just where Keilor's at. I think they have a pretty big game this weekend, Keilor against Greenvale. That probably will decide who is the second best team in this division. For mine, Pascoe Vale are down to fourth as we speak. But, of course, that can still change with 3 weeks to go in the home and away season.
Yeah, I think Greenvale, they've come the closest to Aberfeldy so far, so they've got their stake for second best in the division at the moment. But I think Keilor, as you mentioned, Adam, they've got a big fortnight coming up because they've got Greenvale this week and then Aberfeldy the week after, so they could really establish themselves as the second best team in the competition if they can get some results in this next fortnight.
Yeah, you've both mentioned that game between Keilor and Greenvale that's coming up this weekend. What do you think we can expect to come out of the weekend?
A really, really highly defensive game, guys. I reckon that's what we'll expect. Greenvale's been pretty good in that respect lately, and we know under Mickey McGuan that Keilor is probably the benchmark defensively in Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division at the moment. So I think we're going to see a pretty highly fought contested game. It's going to be hard at it and probably not very high scoring. I'm still tipping Greenvale though, even though it's at Keilor. But I'm hoping at least it's going to be a really close, hard-fought game.
Yeah, both teams in such good form at the moment. I think I'm going to tip Keilor in a little bit of an upset. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this game. I'm looking forward to it.
Is that because Brownie's back in the side, Sprouts?
Well, I saw a little bit of Brownie in the VFL coverage over the weekend, and he looked pretty good in the Essendon jumper. So I think going back to Keilor, he could do some damage against Greenvale. Important
to note, though, that we believe he has committed to play finals for Keilor, so shouldn't have too much of an impact in that respect for the Keilor Footy Club.
Yeah, good lockdown. Good for Keilor to lock down as such a crucial player to their side.
I've also tipped Greenvale, so it'll be interesting to see who does come out a winner from the weekend. Now, just grab your quick tips. We've got Airport West and West Coburg.
West Coburg?
Yeah, West Coburg for mine.
And then Maribyrnong Park and Avondale Heights.
Avondale.
I might go with Marby.
And then Pascoe Vale and Aberfeldy.
Aberfeldy quite comfortably.
Definitely Abbas. We'll see if they just take the foot off the pedal just a touch. We'll see.
And then in Strathmore Community Bank Division 2 on the weekend, Coburg District struggled again against Roxy. Do you think this has ruled the Lions out of premiership contention?
I don't know about you, Adam Russell. I think it does. I don't think Coburg Districts can win this flag this year. For mine, it's now a 3-horse race at least between Jacana, Roxy and Hadfield. 3 times now they've struggled against Roxburgh Park. They cannot get a score on the board. They just simply do not have that firepower. Don't match up well against Roxy, who are probably second best right now in this division. So unfortunately for everyone down at Coburg Districts, I've probably put my line through your particular side in the premiership race.
Well, we're talking about premiership contention here, Chief. They might not even make the top 4 at this point. They've got Keilor Park this weekend, and some of the locals they've got into my ear and they reckon they're a fancy chance this weekend, and then the week after they've got Hadfield, so still not even a chance to make finals maybe at this point. Coburg Districts, but I think well and truly out of the premiership race at this point.
Well, still in Division 2, do you think that Moonee Valley can beat Roxy at the weekend?
They're not much of a show. I'm hoping this is a really close game, but Roxy have had their measure in the first 2 games. They were close though, so maybe a third time around we'll still get a close game and Moonee Valley can keep themselves in it. Roxy, though, right now, I think we've seen enough evidence and on paper that they probably are a step or 2 ahead of the Valley.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Roxy this season, so simply I don't think Moonee Valley can get the job done.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of EDFL Web TV. Make sure to pick up your copy of The Record this weekend, and we hope you all have an amazing time at the football.